Hey guys, this is RK, and this is kind of a follow-up to Lrn2Tank, specifically part 3, where I was talking about stats and gear and kind of your priority and what's important. And I wanted to talk about a kind of slight alternative method of looking at your stats. I guess it's not really an alternative method, but kind of a different, slightly different priority that you might consider giving a try. Um, those of you that like using Tangadin spreadsheets and things like that may have noticed, especially if you're, pretty well Firelands geared, that the better your gear has been getting, the more highly valued your expertise is getting. Almost to the point that expertise is better than, say, crit or even possibly mastery. It's close, but not quite. So, what does that mean exactly? Well, as I was saying in my prior videos, bears have what's called active shielding. We don't have a passive block chance like warriors and paladins do, but druids as well as DKs have active bubbles. Basically, when we hit, we potentially will get a bubble that will protect us. So, what are normally seen as DPS stats for tanks, like hit, expertise, and crit, of course, which fuels our bear bubbles, are a little bit more valuable for feral as well as for death knights. So, something that I decided to try, what my third week I think into Firelands, was to hit the expertise cap and see just how it changed my game. So the expertise cap is 26, which is 781 rating. You can get that actually from quite a few pieces of gear. The BOE bracers that you can get from Valor points have expertise on them. So does Riplim's Lost Collar, which was kind of our best in slot belt for this tier anyhow. Some of your older pieces may still have some expertise on them. Um, but, you can kind of look through your gear and see what you already have that has expertise on it. And then from there, go through and start some reforging. So the only two pieces I have with innate expertise were, of course, the bracers and the belt. So I had to go into RAR, and RAR is actually really useful for this because you can set your threat, instead of being main tank threat, set it to off tank threat or crazy about threat, and that will increase the multiplying value of your threat abilities. What's really nice is that by setting it for, I believe it was crazy about threat, it put a lot of focus on hitting the expertise cap, the soft cap by the way, not the hard cap, as well as, taking some hit into consideration, but without nerfing your other stats as much as possible. So basically what I ended up with was a spreadsheet increase of 5,000 DPS by hitting the expertise cap, a longer, a greater uptime on my bear bubbles, and an overall spreadsheet damage taken increase of only about 0.02%, 0.02%. 0.02% damage extra taken. That's pretty much sneeze-worthy. Most of the time we take, 20k, 30k hits. You're talking 30 damage. That's nothing. So, was definitely worth it for me to give it a shot. I talked to my husband, who tended to be my assigned healer for things like Shanox or going upstairs on Bethalak. And he actually said that I became a little bit smoother to heal. Mostly because, while I was still dodging a lot, because I was having a greater uptime on my bear bubbles, it meant that I was absorbing, more of the damage when I was getting hit by the bear bubbles, because my bear bubbles were up more often. So, something you may want to consider is hitting the expertise soft cap of 26. The reason why expertise is better than focusing on hit is because for every point of for every expertise up to 26, you're actually covering two types of miss. You're covering dodge and you're covering parry. So, uh, for 26 expertise, I knocked off 6.5% dodge and 6.5% parry for a total of 13 instead of hit, which would have only given me, the 6.5% hit. So expertise gets you, twice the amount for your money until you hit the 26 rating. After that, the only thing it's affecting at that point is parry because, mobs can no longer dodge your abilities. So, excuse me, it becomes a little bit more worthwhile. At this point, expertise and hit are technically equivalent. Hit slightly is better because it also affects your spell hit chance, which helps with your fairy fire sticking, because it is technically a spell. A bear. What the heck? It is technically a spell. So hit is slightly, like minusculely better than expertise after you hit the 26 rating for that reason. Um, but it worked out well. I wasn't taking quite as much damage. Um, or, overall I was taking about the same amount over time. And the threat increase is huge. It's especially nice for dungeons where you're not necessarily going to have misdirects or tricks of the trade. So it helps a lot with making sure that, your threat is up. It increased my DPS significantly, which is a very good thing for a list resort since you're going to be spending most of your time trying to tear down your bird ad by yourself. So the expertise cap is something worth keeping in mind. Um, Same thing goes for Death Knights. I know a lot of Blood DKs that are hitting the expertise cap, and hit is once again okay as well, but it's not necessarily the be all end all. In the end, I think I lost 1% dodge from all of this, possibly 2% while in bear form. Let me see. Yeah, I was at like 36.5%, so I lost about 1% dodge, but, but the fact that I'm missing 13% fewer hits is a significant increase. So, something for you to think about. Until next time, take care.